exist that we can hardly even imagine right now. Luckily, we're on a better timeline, but in this video, I'm going to show you how to raise your vibration to the most optimal timeline so that we experience things of a much lighter sense. We take our power back as a collective. We experience what some people call 5D level of consciousness easier than ever. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now this video, I'm going to be sharing with you in a way a follow-up video on a video that I did recently, and I talked recently in a video that was on 3 signs are in the most optimal timeline, and it seemed to get a lot of positive feedback from people and people wanted to know more. So I'm going to link that below if you want to check that out. However, this video is about understanding vibration in a relatable way. But not just that, understanding that the narrative behind the elite people on the world is to keep us in control, to keep us in fear and anger. Now this is the scale of consciousness. Now in this episode, or this video, I'm also going to be showing you how to let go and move up this scale so that you experience more of what you want. Things become lighter. Literally reality becomes much more magical and much less dense and heavy. It becomes much more flexible the more we raise our vibration. So first off, every single one of us has our vibration, a certain way that we think, feel, and act. It is a state of being that we're in, a level of consciousness that we're in. If you've seen the book or read the book, Power versus Force, you may have seen that scale of consciousness. So I share it in many videos. But in it, you got shame, fear, anger, neutrality, willingness, reasoning, the reasoning of the mind, understanding that beliefs create reality, and then you have love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Now, as you raise your vibration, you will feel better. Reality also becomes much more magical, much more synchronous. You will find that it's just you're in the right place at the right time. You'll find that there's just more other high vibe people that are around you. There's many positive side effects of raising your vibration. Now, the most optimal timeline was an idea that I talked about in a recent video as well, because my buddy Victor Odo and we had a reading with Bashar, who's someone that we've been watching for a long time. Bashar is in the way a channel. Daryl Anka channels Bashar. He's been doing it since the 1980s. And in that private session, I asked him about the Great Awakening. And what I asked is, as we go through this transformation on the planet, we asked, what will happen to the people that are in a higher vibrational state? How is that actually working? Are some people at the mercy of the collective in a way? And what he said was very interesting. He said, based on the vibration that we are individually in, that's going to determine which collective reality we each shift to. So the cool part of this is, as you raise your vibration, you will then shift to a collective that is equal to your vibration, how you are thinking, feeling, how you're showing up in the world, that level of consciousness. So for example, and for a period of time as well, there may be what is called the glass, it's like a glass ceiling or a glass wall, where you're able to see some people that are experiencing a little bit more challenge, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you get sucked in and that you then are in low vibrational state or you get sucked into that reality. So, for example, if you are maybe feeling very fearful, a lot of shame or a lot of anger, and you are buying into what the media is showing you because the media wants to keep you here. And the people that own the media, 6 major corporations, their goal is to keep you in fear and anger because you're much easier to control, you're much more likely to give up your rights. So that's when it's easier for them to bring out vaccines, easy for them to have something like curfew, some New World Order, and keep people in that fear, that anger. And then what happens is that will be the reality equal to that could be a potentiality. Now, if you are able to at least get to neutrality. Neutrality is where you're able to observe what is happening, but not feed it with fear. And don't beat yourself up if you've been buying into the news. It doesn't mean that you're in the least optimal timeline or anything. If you're watching this video, then it's a good sign that you are actually on a more optimal timeline, because there are realities that exist where these things were way, way worse and have already been brought out in many, many ways. But here's the thing, neutrality is where you learn how to observe your thoughts. When I got to neutrality, even in my own life, I used to have attachments to having ADHD, which means I took Adderall and it was very hard for me to focus. I had a lot of attachment to outcome. I was worried about how things would happen. I was always also having high expectation of things, and if it didn't meet the expectation in my mind, I'd feel let down. I'd also be attached to people that were draining my energy because of, many of you know the story about my ex-stepmom and stuff, and I found myself in a pattern of attracting similar women in my life that were trying to control me. And I had an attachment to that not even knowing, and that was what was keeping me in low vibration. When I learned how to observe my thoughts, which is neutrality, observe my beliefs as well, that's where then I started to take my power back. That's where then my vibration went from on a scale of 0 to 10, it went from a 3, which was not feeling great at all, up to a 7 or 8 out of 10, and I started to literally feel high all the time. That's our natural state of being, and that's the one thing I want you to know. Your vibration is naturally high. You don't have to do anything to get to a higher vibrational state. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm at willingness, I have a lot of willpower, I went to Tony Robbins and it was awesome, but I want to get to love. How do I do this? How do I jump up? How do I climb the ladder? Well, it's more so about letting go. Letting go of the belief you're not good enough already. Let go of the belief that there's something wrong with you and there's something to personally develop. And then as you let go of that, you naturally start to raise your vibration. So to be on the most optimal timeline though, the key is understanding your own vibration, because that's going to be the reality that you shift to. And in order to enhance this whole process and to show you practically, step by step, how to go through this transformation of raising your vibration to be on the most optimal timeline, I have started something called the Raise Your Vibration 21-Day Challenge. You can click it in the top of the description box below. For 21 days, I will send you a video every single day showing you how I personally raise my vibration. It includes how I let go of beliefs. It's really 21 days of letting go of things that no longer serve you. And the one goal is that by the end of it, you are in a higher vibrational state and in the most optimal timeline. We do it collectively because there's a group that is involved as well. It is something that enrollment is open for. If you're watching this video right now, it is open from, I believe, the 14th or 15th until the 21st or 22nd. We're gonna start on a Monday. You'll see all the details in the description box below, or you can go to aarondowdy.com/challenge, CHALLENGE, Aaron Dowdy, AARONDOUGHTY.com/challenge, or hit the link in the top description box. Join the 21-day challenge. That's what we're going to be doing, is raising our vibration. We'll be doing it collectively. This is also something that you practically do. There's accountability in it. This isn't just some cool theory, some cool idea. There's practicalness to it, and you're really wired into your identity, which is what's really powerful. So understand as well that when we're talking about this, when you talk about 4 and 5D reality, this is where life becomes much more magical. Things becomes much more flexible. This is a reality that does exist. And when we did that group meditation that many of us did, over 1 million people in the world did on April 4th, the Schumann resonance, which is the resonance of the planet, increased dramatically. It literally was like white, just a huge spurt of energy from those hours of us all doing that group guided meditation. And what that did is that pushed us onto a more optimal timeline, because what was happening at the point, and the reason so many light workers and people like you and I got together to do that, was because what that did is that shifted our timeline. It literally shifted our timeline. We were on a timeline to where we were going to experience a much more harsh version of all of this. Now, realize this as well. The elite people on the planet, when I say elite, I mean the people that have the cabal, whatever you want to call it, the people that have been controlling and orchestrating different events and have been keeping people in a low vibrational state of consciousness, and that own the media and that have been doing these things. The purpose behind it is that they want the resources. If they can keep people in the dark, they literally see people as sheep, then they retain power, and that's what they want. They want a lot of power. Now, what's happening though is the vibration on the planet is raising so much that they're pulling out the last cards up their sleeve in order to, in the hopes to keep us in the low vibration so that they can continue to control us. Because as we are going on more and more optimal timelines, more and more people are waking up. Do you notice that? So many people are waking up, even amidst all the fear and all of the things and them trying to turn us all against each other. So many people are waking up. So it's very interesting to me, because no matter what they do, even if they keep trying to orchestrate and show certain things and exaggerate certain things, what they're doing is they're trying to keep people in the fear and the anger, and it's not working. not only is it not working, but it's waking up more and more people the more they do it. So realize that the key to you being on the optimal timeline is mainly being able to look and observe the anger and the fear that you have and know that it's just a natural survival response. The ego is in the bottom levels, feels very ungrounded, and when it does so, it is looking at things and it is making judgments based on its level of survival. So it's like, oh, am I going to survive? I feel fear, I feel an anger. And then what happens is as you get to neutrality, you're able to observe those thoughts. That's something I teach in that Raise Your Vibration Challenge I was talking about. I teach exactly how I meditate, observe these thoughts, neutralize right when you wake up in the morning, makes it so much easier for the rest of your day. And then you feel like you gain your power back. You feel like you have clarity in your life. You feel like you know the direction you're going in. You feel like you're developing momentum. One of the best ways to raise your vibration is to be doing what you're passionate about. When you're doing what you're passionate about, you have a certain level of momentum, and that's when you also meet high vibe family, high vibe friends. When I started doing my passion is when I started meeting people like Victor and Lior and other people like that. So the key to this is that step by step, taking your power back, observing this, being in neutrality, and then the willingness is the willpower to do what you love, to be on your passion. The reasoning is the belief systems you have. I became more of the beliefs that I have ADHD, that I have, I'm unworthy. I became aware of those beliefs. I was able to then let them go. And as I let them go, my vibration naturally raised. So what Bashar has basically said is that if you are in a high vibrational state or observing your thoughts, following your passion, then things will get better and better and better for you. But if you are in that reactive state and you are experiencing and you're really in it, then you'll find that you're on a less optimal timeline. So remember, you're shifting to the collective that is most resonant with your vibration. So the thing that I encourage you to do is to raise your vibration, let go and observe, be in a neutral place, follow your passion. As you follow your passion and you trust that process, you'll then be in a higher vibrational state, see people as that unity consciousness, it's literally unity consciousness, you'll feel more expanded, and you will be on the most optimal timeline. And one of the ways you can do that is we can all do this in a group. If you're watching this video right now, then you can go to that link in the top description box below. Join me. Let's go through 21 days of transformation, of being on our purpose, gaining that clarity, and transforming our life. You know, there's a group intention there as well that increases the probability of transformation. And we can use that group dynamic in a very powerful way. So if you haven't already, subscribe below as well. I do daily videos like this, and then let me know what you thought as well. Like this video if you haven't liked it yet, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste. Elon Musk said, take the red pill. Now, the red pill has to do with understanding the blue pill, red pill ideology of a lot of people that are asleep right now. However, there is a great awakening going on right now in the world where so many people are waking up. So many of the things that were priorly held back from different sanctions of the government are starting to come into the light. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to know about the Great Awakening and the little bit of the darker side about it. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you more of understanding this whole red pill, blue pill ideology, of understanding as well the Great Awakening, which is something that is happening right now on the planet. You may have noticed that while a lot of people have been in quarantine, people have been asking questions, people have been going a little bit more down rabbit holes than they would have ever gone down, and it's because now there's time to do so, but also they're beginning to question a lot of things going on right now, questioning what they're hearing from the government, all the stuff that's coming out from the media. People are looking at it going, yeah, I don't know if this resonates as much as it used to. I think there's maybe something a little bit else going on than actually what's being projected. A lot of this fear seems to be a little bit fabricated. That's what a lot of people are beginning to realize, and it's having people question things and then wake up to more of who they are. And the Great Awakening is something that's been talked about for literally thousands of years in certain religious texts that you might look in. There's a book called the Law of One series. It's called The Harvest. It's where more and more people are waking up to the lies, to the things that have been going on behind the scenes of understanding that we've been given away our power, and many of us don't even know it. We believe what we believe because of what we've been told growing up, and because of the system, and because of the Disney movies and all the movies in Hollywood that's been run also by this kind of, that's been influenced by this so that we think a certain way. If the content we consume is consistent across the board, and many of us watch the same content, and then the news is projecting things at us, we start to believe certain things about reality. And remember this, I've said this in many other videos, but that scale of consciousness that I always share. Daniel, share the scale of consciousness. Daniel's the editor. The scale of consciousness, you'll see shame, fear, anger, guilt. Then you'll see reasoning, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. What has been understood for a long time is that if people are kept in fear and anger, they're much more easily able to be controlled. And they're much more likely to look to authority for certainty. So that's something that's been known for a long time. Now, when you look at this, what the Great Awakening is there's been people for hundreds of years that have been what you could say in groups of people that have done things to where they've orchestrated certain things happening in the society. And I know this sounds conspiracy, but also understand that the conspiracy word itself, the phrase, was coined by the CIA back in the 70s, the 80s, to keep people from being interested in questioning the government. But understand that there is other agendas going on, and those agendas are to keep people in a certain level of consciousness and a certain way of thinking so that they don't remember who they are. Now, what's happening is the light and the energy on the planet is beginning to raise so much that no longer can the thing be pulled over our eyes. No longer can we be kept in the dark and just agreeing to a lot of these things that we've been doing. And this last couple of months has caused a lot of people to go within, so it's a very positive thing in many ways. Now, I'm going to share with you some of the darker sides of this, my perspective of it. And like I say with all of this stuff though, do your own research, because some of this will sound a little bit out there, but do your own research on this. You know, I've been studying some of this since 2012, so I've seen a lot of stuff that does resonate, a lot of stuff that doesn't resonate, that does and doesn't resonate, and I kind of had to go with my own intuition on some of it, but also to see certain consistencies and patterns, and also just things in my own life that I was able to become aware of. So I'll share with you that. But the key is the vibration is raising so much on the planet. So many people are becoming aware of who they are. So many people are teaming up to do like guided meditations, live meditations to raise the consciousness of the planet using the meditation effect, that it is completely transforming that of the planet, the collective consciousness, because we're all connected. And what these people have known that have been trying to do things behind the scenes, is they've known that if we can keep people in fear and anger, then we can keep them from knowing their true power. But as we become aware, we're coming together, we're connecting ourselves together, we're doing these group meditations, and it's completely transforming the planet. And what we have the ability to accomplish in the next 5, 10, 15 years on the planet is going to be profound. So much change can happen. We can literally have more intuitive abilities come on board. Not like X-Men, I don't know, maybe like Harry Potter or something, but in actuality more so like more of intuitive connection with each other. Also understanding that we are spiritual beings having temporary human experiences. Technology that has been suppressed for hundreds of years come out. And literally we have the ability to create so much more of a harmonious existence on the planet. But there's people that know this, so what they do is they orchestrate certain events that keep people in fear. And they work in this certain mentality where if they want, let's say, a mass amount of people to be open to something, then they say, if we were to have something happen that then would put people in a certain state, then they'd be more open to certain things. That, for example, that might be vaccinations. You have vaccinations on the list. So the idea is, if we wanted people to freely give up their rights, what is one thing we could do? Well, we could have this level of fear that's put out into the world, and then people afraid of all of this stuff, and then they would be begging for it because they'd be like, oh, this, and then they would shame other people for not doing it, and we create this big divide. It's one way. It's like, oh, if we wanted people to, do your own research with this and see what resonates. But if we wanted people back in the day to pay taxes, to pay maybe 30-40% of everything they make to the government, what we could do is we could have some type of horrible thing happen in the world and then tell everyone, oh, if you want to be safe, then people will agree to pay that if it means that we're going to be safe. So,